Things I Learned Losing $1 Million by Jim Paul and Brendan Moynihan is not a typical self-help or investing book. It's a raw, brutally honest exploration of how success can breed overconfidence, how psychology shapes financial decisions, and how losing everything can be the most valuable education a person can receive. The story begins with Jim Paul's rise from humble beginnings in a small Kentucky town to the heights of the Chicago Mercantile Exchange, painting a vivid picture of ambition, drive, and the seductive nature of success. His story is not just about markets, it's about the human mind, ego, and the dangerous illusions of control that often accompany winning streaks. Jim's early life shapes the foundation of his worldview. Growing up with limited means, he develops a fierce hunger to prove himself, to escape the constraints of small-town expectations. His ambition is fueled by the belief that financial success will validate his worth. When he finally steps into the trading pits, he is captivated by the raw energy and intensity of the environment. The trading floor becomes both his battlefield and his stage, a place where his intelligence and instincts can make him a fortune, or destroy him entirely. His early trading experiences are marked by a series of fortunate outcomes. He takes risks, sometimes without fully understanding them, but the market rewards him. Each win strengthens his confidence, blurring the line between skill and luck. Jim begins to see himself as invincible, someone who understands the markets better than anyone else. The profits reinforce his ego, and the attention he gets from his peers feeds his need for recognition. The more he wins, the more he believes he's in control. As his account grows, so does his self-image. He starts living larger, nicer clothes, bigger social circles, more aggressive trades. The success creates an intoxicating feedback loop, making it hard to recognize that he might just be benefiting from favorable conditions rather than genius strategy. He mistakes temporary success for a permanent edge, and that is where the slow downfall begins. The warning signs are there, but when the market finally turns, he's blind to them because he no longer sees risk as something that applies to him. When Jim opens a massive position in soybean futures, convinced of the rightness of his view, his conviction borders on obsession. Even as the market moves against him, he refuses to accept he could be wrong. His identity is now tied to being right, not being profitable. Admitting a mistake would mean admitting weakness. Instead of cutting his losses, he doubles down, rationalizing every adverse move as temporary noise. The loss grows, and with it, his emotional attachment to the position deepens. As the situation spirals, his colleagues warn him to get out. But he can't. He's no longer trading the market, he's trading his ego. The internal monologue becomes a battle between fear and denial. He tells himself the market will come back, that he's just early. Eventually, when the margin calls come and the losses exceed $1 million, he's forced to face a devastating truth. He has not only lost his money, he's lost the illusion of control, the belief that he was special. The aftermath is brutal. Jim's world collapses overnight. The trading floor that once applauded him now watches in silence. Friends disappear, and the confidence that once defined him turns into shame. But it's in this ruin that the real learning begins. Stripped of wealth and status, Jim begins to see how his downfall wasn't caused by bad luck or market manipulation, but by his own psychology. The loss exposes the cognitive biases and emotional traps that govern most people's financial decisions. With the help of co-author Brendan Moynihan, the book shifts from memoir to a deeper analysis of human behavior. They explore how most market participants, whether professionals or amateurs, lose not because of a lack of knowledge but because of an inability to control their emotions. The authors dissect the difference between how people handle gains and losses, showing that while success is often attributed to skill, failure is blamed on external forces. This asymmetry keeps people from learning the real lessons that losses offer. One of the most profound insights from the book is the distinction between how to make money and how not to lose it. Most financial advice focuses on strategies for winning, but few teach how to survive losses. Yet, in markets, survival is the prerequisite for success. Jim realizes that while there are countless ways to make money, there are only a few ways to lose it, chief among them, the refusal to accept mistakes and the emotional need to be right. The authors introduce the idea that markets are inherently uncertain and uncontrollable, but our reactions to them can be managed. By creating systems, setting rules, and defining risk before taking a trade, one can remove emotion from decision-making. They emphasize the importance of detachment, understanding that a loss is not a reflection of personal failure but a normal part of trading. The goal isn't to predict the market but to protect oneself from being destroyed by it. Another critical takeaway is the seductive danger of personal narrative. Jim's biggest mistake wasn't just in trading, it was in constructing a story about himself as a winner. He filtered every experience through this identity, ignoring anything that contradicted it. The market, however, has no concern for personal narratives, it humbles everyone eventually. By believing his success confirmed his superiority, he set himself up for catastrophic failure when reality refused to fit his story. Through painful reflection, Jim learns that humility is not weakness but a form of protection. The best traders aren't those who are right most of the time, they're those who lose small and live to trade another day. Emotional discipline, not intelligence or bravado, separates those who survive from those who don't. The loss of $1 million becomes his tuition fee for understanding human nature, not just market behavior. In time, Jim rebuilds his life, but with a very different mindset. He approaches both success and failure with detachment, no longer defining himself by his outcomes. His new perspective turns what was once a humiliating defeat into a powerful teaching tool for others. The authors make it clear that true mastery comes not from conquering the market but from conquering oneself. The narrative's strength lies in its combination of storytelling and psychology. It's not a tale of formulas or secret trading systems but an exploration of ego, identity, and self-deception. It forces readers to confront uncomfortable truths, that most people don't lose money because they're unlucky, they lose because they refuse to accept uncertainty and imperfection. Ultimately, Things I Learned Losing $1 Million is a cautionary and transformative tale. It teaches that loss is inevitable, but ruin is optional. By studying failure, not success, one gains the humility and awareness needed to survive in any high-stakes environment, financial or otherwise. Jim Paul's story stands as a timeless reminder that the most dangerous belief in any endeavor is the illusion of invincibility, and the greatest victory is learning how to lose well.